almost 3 years in the role and nothing happened. So there was neither a promotion nor any discussion of or mention of what's next for Surbhi. And I remember thinking, wait, is that it? Have I reached my glass ceiling? And what if I don't have it in me? Why is it not happening? So there was a moment of, not moment, but many moments of self-doubt that start creeping in at that point.
I think many professionals, they feel that they are working hard and along doing everything right, but still not moving forward. Why does that happen?
Grow up with this belief that, if you work hard and be dependable and deliver results, and growth will naturally follow. But in reality, hard work is expected. Delivering a professional level of hard work, level of work and working hard is expected. It is the baseline. What it is not is growth strategy. The one thing that I did right during that period of self-doubt was seek feedback. And they all used different words, but they gave me the same feedback. And that feedback hit me like a ton of bricks. Overthinking is sneaky. How it often looks like productivity, but it's just mental clutter. You are sitting in a meeting with these ideas bubbling up or something half-formed coming up, but you have not said it because you're like, should I say it? And in the meantime, someone with better communication skills has already jumped in, said it, and you've lost your chance. Don't find your sense of self from the environment. Find it within. Set your own standards. Perfectionism is not your friend. It will actually stop you and hold you back from learning, from taking risks, and it will instill a fear of failure in you. I would call myself a recovered perfectionist. Choose progress over perfection. Every time you find yourself really overthinking something, just tweak this, tweak that, tweak this, and you're never ending or finishing any task, choose progress. Is this good enough? I will do this. I'll take the next step and I'll see what happens. So consciously choose progress over perfection.
Do we end up people pleasing? Because sometimes you have to, in order to be a part of the network, you have to please people. Sure.
No. People pleasing is not important. In fact, I would put it in the same category as overthinking and perfectionism. Holds you back, holds you back, holds you back. All three things. Always 10% learning, 90% implementation. If you see this percentage going, stop, implement something. Confidence is not something you are born with or you have to be born with. It is something you can build like a muscle.
I was very shy, very quiet. And I started living with that fact. So I used to feel, I have to be like this because that's how I'm being perceived as. And over a period of time when I started growing up, and then I realized, no, that's not what I have. I have something else in me, but why I'm trying to be something else?
The only way out of it is to recognize it, I think. You cannot change what's happened, but I would say to sit down with a blank sheet of paper, do something radical. Write down everything that you think about yourself or others think about you in one word, all the labels, and another sheet of paper, write down everything you want to be known as. Right?
That's
confident, strong, athletic, whatever you want. I know this is sounding like some, wish list or some, story, mythical story, but why not? All the labels and then pick, these are the 5 things I want to be. And then go for it, and it's possible.
Exactly.
If I go and, take these actions to break this little, inner barrier and start speaking more and start talking to people more, interacting more, mingling more, the label's gone. I've done it, right? I felt in touch with my gut again. I need to take full control of my future in my own hands. Today is the youngest you will ever be. So my learning for life, even if I had read it so many times, but in practice was, all growth lies outside of your comfort zone.
Watch how Surbhi redefined her career in just 5 months. And maybe it's time for your turning point too. So let's welcome the confidence coach and growth strategist, Ms. Surbhi Jain, to our show today. Thank you so much for being the guest for our new show, The Turning Point. And we're so glad to have you here. And we would just like to start with, you have lived, Surbhi, and, worked in different cultures and environments, starting your career in India and then moving to UK and continuing your professional journey there as well. So how has this experience, shaped the way you are and how you react to the environment, if I may ask?
Thanks, Kavita. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here talking to you about all the things that I'm really passionate about. So, thank you. And that's such a great opening question. As you said while introducing me, I have worked across cultures. And we know by cultures, we mean not just different countries, but different workplace cultures as well, in my case. And the journey has been rather interesting. If I had to kind of compare and contrast these two, then I would say in India, I felt very defined by achievement, in the sense, achievement by the traditional markers of success. So, school and college, and then do an MBA or a good degree, get a great first job, keep your boss happy, get some growth every 2 or 3 years. So, move up the ladder. And I did all of that. But looking back, now that I've done the journey, a lot of that confidence and sense of self came from the external expectations and external validations and how many pats on the back you are getting. Visibility and other things mattered, but most of it was, proving yourself over time, loyalty and dedication to your, traditional path. Then I moved to UK. And I realized that a lot of things had to be recalibrated. What worked before didn't quite land the same here. The pool is different, more diverse. All those traditional benchmarks don't necessarily translate. So you don't get just for example, you don't get the benefit of the degree. You come from so and so college, like, so what? Right? You're in a different pool. So you have to recalibrate those things. What I had to do was to understand and adapt to the cultural nuance, which was very important. So here it was more about if you're seen as strategic, you're vocal, how do you put across your ideas, how you communicate very importantly. So those are the things that I had to, kind of learn very rapidly. But I really appreciated, just to add the value that is put here on good communication, clear articulation, and just this mutual respect equation at workplace, despite the hierarchy. There is hierarchy, but still the mutual respect and the work culture was great. So, so yeah, those are some few things. But I think just to end this, the key I feel is you can adapt too much sometimes, to just be aware of, and that came later, obviously, after quite some time. It doesn't come in the beginning. But if anyone is starting this journey, I will say to be conscious of how much you are adapting, because you can fit in too much. So don't hold on too tight to what you are, but don't let go of all of your uniqueness as well. Don't find your sense of self from the environment. Find it within. Set your own standards.
So, Surbhi, now I also want to ask you, was there a point in your career where you felt like things have to change, not just in your professional career, but also how people perceive you or see you?
Yes. If you mean in terms of what I was doing versus how I was being seen,
Right.
yes, there was definitely a turning point. And this is a turning point close to my heart, Kavita. So thanks for asking that, actually.
Sure.
I would say after 15 years in my career, so India plus UK, 15 years in my career, I was here in the UK in one of the largest British banks, doing a role that I loved. I was getting amazing feedback from everywhere, clients internally. I had gained kind of an expertise in that role, becoming a go-to person and quite well regarded. So I was pretty certain that I am on the right track. I'm on the path to success. I didn't necessarily want to leave the role or the company, but I did want to grow, go to the next level, handle bigger businesses or a team, etc. So I was sure everything seems perfectly right for me. Growth will follow. However, almost 3 years in the role and nothing happened. So there was neither a promotion nor any discussion of or mention of what's next for Surbhi. And I remember thinking, wait, is that it? Have I reached my glass ceiling? And what if I don't have it in me? Why is it not happening? So there was a moment of, not moment, but many moments of self doubt that start creeping in at that point. The one thing that I did right during that period of self doubt was seek feedback. So I went to three senior leaders in the business. So not just my line manager, but three senior leaders in the business to discuss with them and ask for feedback like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I've done, and why are things not happening? They were all very gracious with their time and feedback. And they all used different words, but they gave me the same feedback. And that feedback hit me like a ton of bricks. Essentially, they all said, Surbhi, you are great at what you do, but you're not seen as a leader. I think I found my blind spot in that moment. And I realized that, okay, maybe I am on the right path, but without a map or without any tools to navigate this path. So I'm basically wandering. And in that moment, obviously, it changed everything. I realized that I need to take full control of my future in my own hands. And by that, I mean, stop waiting for the tap on the shoulder to say, hey, you are up next. So I have to do this for myself. And in pursuit of that, I did do it. I mapped the gaps, sought more feedback, and processed the feedback rather than getting discouraged by it. So that I think was one of the key things that I think helped me in future after that. Mapped the gaps, worked on them intentionally one by one by doing uncomfortable things. So I stepped way out of my comfort zone, and the things that I thought should come naturally to me, if it didn't come, I went out and got them. And in 5 months, I had the leadership role that I wanted. So my learning for life, even if I had read it so many times, but in practice was all growth lies outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Very interesting because you what you said is like you were doing everything right, you were perfectly, performing and for the last 3 years, and still this very astonishing because normally that's the right track record, and then why you're not perceived as a leader. So that's really because I think most of
Yeah.
us are going through the same journey. They think they are doing everything perfect, and still, where they're lacking behind and where they're unseen or invisible from the management side. So very interesting, Mr. Surabhi. So now coming to my next question, which I'm sure the audience also would like to know, is like many professionals they feel that they are working hard and along doing everything right, but still not moving forward. Why does that happen?
Yeah, this is such a common experience, Kavita, and especially for high performers as well, but for everyone.
Absolutely.
We grow up with this belief that, if you work hard and be dependable and deliver results, and growth will naturally follow. But in reality, hard work is expected. Delivering a professional level of hard work, level of work, and working hard is expected. It is the baseline. What it is not is growth strategy. So hard work alone is not growth strategy. It's a given. You have to do that much. What are you getting in result of your hard work and delivering consistent result? You're getting paid. So you get paid for performance.
Right.
But promotions or leadership or growth, they are no longer just a reward for doing your current job well. Might be probably in my parents' generation, when you stay long enough, keep doing the job, and you keep moving 3-4 years, work in a public sector bank, for example. You have to be good there as well, but
Right.
it is a little bit of a given. But it's no longer the case. It's promotion is not a reward for that, is what I would say. Promotion is given. It's not given. It's a bet on your ability to operate at the next level. So, how do you translate that into real life? If you're doing excellent work right now, hard work, as we say, question yourself: how is this preparing me for my next role? So it's helping me do this job very well. Um, how am I expanding my impact beyond my desk? Am I solving bigger problems? Am I connecting my work to the bigger priorities of the organization? Or whatever the next level that you have in mind. And this is where most often mid-career professionals get stuck. There is a gap between the value you're delivering and the value that is visible to people. That as well. So no, it's hard work alone is not a growth strategy. So you have to shift from being an doer, excellent doer to showing that you are ready to lead. You're ready to do the next level.
And taking a cue from your story itself, Surbhi, you turned around, the table in 5 months. You got into the leadership role. So, what exactly? I mean, if you could elaborate a bit when you said, look at the larger picture. This is the hard work is expected out of you. So, I mean, you definitely mentioned it, but still, can you elaborate? Like, what if you have to say the four things that people need to focus on in order to grow? What that would be?
Yeah, in terms of the actions I took outside my comfort zone, I would say number one, to get above the external realities. By which I mean, if there were no, growth opportunities or current openings in my team in leadership, then what do? You start looking around. You don't get stuck to one idea of success that you had in mind. I also did a secondment in a completely different type of business within the bank. They needed help, and I had the time and resource at that point in the year to do it. When I was asked, I took it up after initial hesitation, which was a big stretch for me. I had never done that kind of work before. It was a 6 month secondment. So that was the first really uncomfortable thing. I went deep into it and gave it my all. But I didn't stop there, which is what the old Surbhi would have done. I then started learning more, creating network in that new team, in that new business, creating allies. Thirdly, creating visibility of my work. So, you're already a hard worker, you're dedicated, you've proven yourself that wherever you go, you can deliver results, right? You're a dedicated professional. But this time, the added layer is that you make your work visible. You make other people easy to spot talent if you think you are a talent, right? And there is nothing wrong in it. So, talking to other people, making your work visible, creating allies, and networking. So, that was another thing really out of the comfort zone. I had done it before, but that intentional networking introduced me to ABC. And going, meeting them, always asking them for another introduction to increase your network, and doing it with a good, authentic intention. It is not bragging or anything, and we can talk about it more if you like, but it is easy. It is good for people as well to know who's interested, who is up for a job in their team. People want to know who are interested. It's really good. And then lastly, when you get to meet these people, these senior leaders, this network, stating your ask very clearly. Do not leave it to everyone else to figure out what you want. Just stating it very clearly is so that was one of the uncomfortable things I did. And once you do it, it's not uncomfortable anymore. And that landed me the role.
We would love to delve into deeper into it during the course of the interaction because this sounds like a key to changing your career and getting to the next level in your career. So definitely we'll go through it in due course of it. So Surbhi, I'm a little curious to understand, as you mentioned, like the various I may say the various things, or the various opportunities we can look at and how broadly we can see within the world rather than saying that we are not growing. So what is stopping? We have to do a bit of introspection to understand, why are we not seen as a leader? Now, while you were mentioning where, the several things that you can do, or the roles you can look at, or the opportunities you can look at. You mentioned that if you don't have a role in your team, you just cited that. I'm just taking it from there. If you don't have a role in your team, that you can even look for opportunities outside your team. But my question is that if you are a perfectionist or if you have been in a role for certain years, you have perfected that role. While if you move or jump and hop to a new role, I'm not too sure how you'll be able to achieve perfectionism and then kind of, achieve the leadership role that you are aiming at or looking at. So can you please help me in kind of, there's a little confusion around it. So if you can, help us in solving that.
Yeah. No, the simple answer is you don't. You don't try to achieve perfectionism. Um, so number one, in my case, obviously I looked at an external opportunity because it came across. And the point here was to not get bogged down by the reality of what's happening currently in a certain team, right? Just make your way, find something else. I would have probably come back to the team in a new role. Anything could have happened. The point was to take some action, do something new that you have not done before, stretch yourself a bit. It could be in any way. So that was my reason for doing that secondment, and it gave me a lot of things in return in terms of a wider network and everything else that I learned. And I had wonderful coaches along the way, which also helped me in giving the right nudge and stretching myself. But coming back to the second part of your question, if you have perfected this role, you were such a go-to person, why would you go to something completely different and try and perfect that as well? So first of all, I've done this every 3 years, done something completely different in banking all my career. But the key, I would say, is that
Was it a
conscious
conscious move?
choice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just some of it conscious choice and some of it just how life took you
Okay.
through various stages. Things happen. But I would say, no, do not try to perfect it, because perfectionism is not your friend. If you want to like over adapt to the new team, you want to deliver absolutely perfect results from day one, that will not help you. It will actually stop you and hold you back from learning, from taking risks, from again doing those new things. And it will instill a fear of failure in you. Oh my God, what if I get this wrong and I don't know this? It's fine. Go ahead, try it, learn it, absorb like a sponge, make mistakes, look like a fool on a couple of Zooms, and you will be fine. The learning that you will get out of it, if you're dedicated enough and you are diligent, you will pick up. So learning new things is never the problem. It is just trying to be perfect in a new thing is the problem, because it doesn't let you progress to the next step.
Yeah, it's very shocking because we have right from being from the childhood we have learned that perfectionism is something you everybody aims to achieve, and here it's quite a deviation when you're saying that no, you should just go ahead. Perfectionism is not something that you need to embrace all the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
Yes, yes, that's what I mean. And this is again one of my, one of the
would it be
key
a
things.
sorry to cut you. Would it be a bottleneck if we don't achieve perfectionism in a certain role or a job that we are doing, or anything as a matter of fact?
Uh, if we achieve it, it will be a bottleneck. And
Okay.
this I learned after a very long journey, and very late in life. And I wish that I had learned it much, much sooner. So I would call myself a recovered perfectionist.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, Bob, when I learned how much damage perfectionism is doing. Um, and this is one thing that I, cover a lot when I coach people and, help them grow and break this barrier that I call it a barrier. And I'll tell you why. So, number one, perfectionism is a trap.
Okay.
I'll explain why. It gives you a false sense of security. You think that if I get this exactly right, I will not fail.
Right.
But what it actually does, it stops you from trying. It holds you back. So let's take an example. Speaking up in a meeting, if it's not a great idea and everyone doesn't applaud, then, I will not look good. So you don't speak up or you don't take risks, or some new opportunity comes up and you like, but I don't know it really well yet. So no, I will not put my hat in the ring. And you hold back. I will learn everything, get 5 of the training certifications, and then I will do it.
Absolutely.
And meanwhile, the people who are taking risks are sprinting ahead of you.
Yes.
So what's the antidote? What do we do instead? Alternative.
Right.
Choose healthy excellence. Set a standard and then zoom out and see, is this good enough to go forward? Choose progress over perfection. Every time you find yourself really overthinking something, just tweak this, tweak that, tweak this, and you're never ending or finishing any
Right.
task, choose progress. Is this good enough? I will do this. I'll take the next step and I'll see what happens. So consciously choose progress over perfection.
That's really an ideal answer. I think many senior leaders will have to do this, and even the middle management, because I think everybody today the next term, which is very common nowadays, is the micromanagement. So yeah, so I think yeah, it is one way to even avoid that as well. In terms of
Yeah,
moving ahead of
yeah,
it.
I agree.
Yes.
Especially at the middle management level, because we have
Yes.
just come up doing like really great work, delivering perfect results, and then you really realize, no, it can't. It has got you here. It can't
Yes.
take you there. Leave
Yeah,
it now.
they lose
Leave
the
the
vision there.
perfectionism.
Yes, they lose the vision there. I
Yeah.
love the word healthy. When you said healthy
Healthy
boundaries.
excellence.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I think that has to be taught and has to be instilled in many people. So an interesting aspect that you brought in your, when while you were speaking right now in your response, Surabhi, you mentioned about the overthinking part, as as like when you are chasing perfectionism. So how does this overthinking, or you may say people pleasing, sneak into our work life, and how do they hold us back? If you can kind of elaborate on that.
Yes, you use the right word there. Sneak into our work life because overthinking is sneaky.
Right.
How it often looks like productivity, but it's just mental clutter. So how does it? What does it look like? It looks like the endless draft emails and the revised drafts that you do before sending out something important. That LinkedIn request or networking request that you wrote 3 times but you have not sent out. It's still lying there. You are sitting in a meeting with these ideas bubbling up or something half formed coming up, but you have not said it because you're like, should I say it? And in the meantime, someone with better communication skills has already jumped in, said it, and you've lost your chance. Um, because
I
you're
can
thinking,
completely
am I
relate to what
sounding
you're
polished
saying.
enough?
Yeah. I said I can completely relate to what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we have all done it. So this is what overthinking actually looks like, and there can be endless examples of this, of how we all do it. Or you are sitting in a course, or you're, thinking of getting a mentor or a coach. And I've had so many of these conversations as well, where people know this is the right thing for them, and this is what they need to move forward. But then they're overthinking to say, can someone give me the certainty of the result? Well, there's no certainty in real world, and the result is that they don't take that action at all, right?
Right.
Um, and what does it cost you? So, overthinking, I always say, overthinking has an annual maintenance bill, a huge bill, right?
Yes.
Number one, all of the hours you have spent overthinking and not actually doing stuff. Number two, it kills your gut instinct. And gut instinct is really good if you want to move up, if you want to be a strategic leader, right? And once you kill your gut instinct, you definitely kill your decision making ability, right? So,
Right.
what do you need when you're a leader? You need to make quick decisions on the given set of information and take the risk and move forward, right? Intelligent risks. But how will an overthinker do that? They won't. They
No.
won't. So that's why you're stuck where you're stuck, right? You're just collecting more and more information to get the perfect answer that does not exist, right? So that's
Right.
what it does. Every time you think I'm going to take the right decision, that's why I'm doing this. But if you choose going back to progress over perfection, you take the decision the best you can and you make it right.
And how do you do that?
No, sorry,
I said, how do you do that?
with practice. So how do you do that is with action. When you have taken the action, action gives information. You think that reading everything, terms and conditions, and every little information and data gives you information, yes, but action gives you even better information. It tells you what's the result, it gives you a little more clarity, and now that you've landed here, what's the next thing you can do? Um, so without sounding too theoretical, um, instead of overthinking one thing 10 times and
Right.
probably still not doing it or not signing up for the course or not going for that meeting or the event or whatever you're overthinking about
Right.
or throwing that party, um, instead of doing that for one thing, um, go ahead and take action, do 10 things quickly. Out of
Okay.
the 10 things, you will succeed at 5 probably,
Right.
fail at 5, but by that time you would have done 5 things, and at the same time the overthinker will probably had done one thing, hoping that this one thing needs to be right.
Right.
So leave this, don't be stubborn about getting that one thing right. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Go
How
and
did you,
experiment.
right. And how did you manage? I'm sure you also were into overthinking, because I think like all of us. So how did you kind of, what were the, if I may ask, like, what were the steps you took? Because we all, as you rightly said, that we
Yeah.
all want to miss the party. We all don't want, because we're overthinking, like, oh, should we go ahead? We're not prepared for it. So this keeps on going on. So how do we kind of cut it How did you avoid this?
This used to be my role. Now it's no longer, but it was. And you're right. So I obviously, because I said I'm a recovered perfectionist, right, from my earlier life. So definitely I was an overthinker. And
Yeah.
I had this strong kind of a limiting belief that I'm not a good decision maker. And it reflected in everything. A few years ago, even if I will go shopping with my sister, I would say, I mean, she will decide five things in the time that I will decide one thing, right? So I'm not a good decision maker. And when I went through my own transformation journey and worked with my coaches and um, really decided to do something about it. So the number one thing was just decided to do something about it. I will pick one thing and share with you what I did, and there can be many versions of that. I went ahead and did an experiment. So by that time, I had already started journaling. This was a few years back. And I said, every day, I will take one quick decision. Just literally anything. It could be a big decision at work, it could be something at home, it could be with my child, it could be in family, anything. Or it could be while shopping, right? That's a good one. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
And I will write it down. What's the quick decision I took today? And every week I'll look back and see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything go wrong? Did the world fall apart because of me not overthinking and having my perfect decision? I did this for 6 weeks. Quick decision making experiment. And every week I looked back and saw that everything was fine. The world was still in its place. I had done way more things than I would usually do. And at the end of 6 weeks, I gained that inner confidence, not this outer confidence, how I'm talking or whatever, that, I can go ahead and do things and they'll be right. And if they're not right, I looked back and saw whenever they were not right, I made it right. Just somehow I made do with it. I found the resilience to kind of deal with it.
Right.
And the best thing that I found from this experiment was I felt so much lighter because I had taken this burden of overthinking and offloaded it. That's the lightest I ever have felt. And I felt, and I'm still working on this other one, but I felt in touch with my gut again. Because I had a great gut instinct to begin with. And anyway, women have a like really good natural gut instinct.
Right.
And I felt like I was back in touch with my gut instinct. So that is something that I still consciously work on because it is very easy to go back.
That's really nice. I love this experiment you spoke about, or this, the routine that you made. I think all of us should do that and try that. Because yeah, we are all overloaded with the burden of, overthinking. Like even I think when I go to sleep and to bed in the night, there's so many thoughts that come, what will happen, what I've done today, and what will happen. And it's mostly negative. Onto the positive side. We over evaluate ourselves. So I suppose this is very interesting part. So I think I will also follow it from now onward. And sometimes, I liked that what you said, that you said that you were not a good decision maker. Most of us, I think we somewhere it stems from the feeling that we are not good enough also. And it kind of is there in all our thoughts actually, and it's kind of is there. So yeah, that's the great way to avoid it and try to curtail it. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also, when you were talking about, how to be visible and what the steps you should take, some hard, difficult steps. In one of your questions, when I asked you about, the leadership role, that what did you do when in 5 months you got promoted? You also mentioned that, you have to have network, you should start engaging with people, and, very genuinely you should build it. So is it also somewhere, does it also kind of touch the line of people pleasing? Do we end up people pleasing? Because sometimes you have to, in order to be a part of the network, you have to please people because everybody may not be in the same vibration or in the same zone like you are. So I just wanted to understand that people pleasing, if I may ask, is also a mandatory thing, or is it something that we should look at? And if it is so, it is very tough for people like us. We feel like if we are doing hard work, it's more than enough, and as work speaks for ourselves. So just wanted to understand how do we bridge this and how to balance this part into it.
Yes. In that case, I have good news for you.
Sure.
No. People pleasing is not important. In fact, I would put it in the same category as overthinking and perfectionism. Holds you back, holds you back, holds you back. All three things.
Mm-hmm.
So no need to. There is even, an author who has written about this and used the term disease to please.
Okay, that's
It is that bad. And I agree with that term. So now let's talk about people pleasing. And At first it looks like being helpful,
Right.
being dependable, and you say yes to everything.
Right.
What other people need, and keeping your needs in the background, keeping your boundaries in the background. But why do we do that? Right? That's strange. Why do we do that to ourselves? It starts with, and this is, I'll share a model with you, a framework that I teach as well for people pleasing specifically. It starts with the need for validation. Right? We talked about being hard worker, having this, great feedback from everyone, being known as the expert, being indispensable, and just especially higher achievers as well, just really wanting to carry that reputation with them everywhere in the new environment. I just quickly want to be known as the same great guy, great girl, which I was in my previous role organization. So you quickly start doing that, and you have this need for validation. And just to add, the need for validation also comes from our upbringing. As we all know, if we have grown up on, praise, dependent on a pat on the back, always looking up for validation, which hopefully our generation now is understanding. Our generation of parents is now understanding it better and not doing, taking care that they don't do the same.
Right.
But anyway, it starts with need for validation. So you say yes to everything, right? Yes, I can do this. You don't say no. You don't have your boundaries. And you go over and above to do things for people. Fine, which is great. You're a nice person. And then you get acceptance and praise because of that. Again, wonderful, really good, because everyone loves Surbhi. She can do everything for everyone. And then you feel your self-worth, but it is coming from validation and praise.
Right.
It's dependent on these two things.
Right.
If it is dependent on these two things, you will do more of these things. So you do more and more and more. Two things happen at that point. I think in what I've observed in people pleasers, one, people come to expect that of you.
Right.
So it's not premium anymore.
Yes.
Have you seen, like in a family also, you will see the person who does 10 things, if once they don't show up in crisis, they're the bad guy. And the person who doesn't do anything, no one expects anything from them. They show up and they're the hero.
Right. It's kind of reputation you built. Yes.
Number one, people come to expect. But the number two most dangerous thing that happens is that you're exhausted. Because no one can keep up with this, doing more and more and more. Once you're exhausted, you think, well, I'm not good enough. I can't do this anymore. And then your self-worth dips. Because your self-worth was coming from doing all of these things and getting praise and all of this self-approval. As soon as your self-worth dips, what happens? You go running back into the arms of validation, need for validation.
Right.
And the cycle continues again. Now you tell me, do we need people pleasing, or we need to kind of shift it out, draw a boundary, do our best, and just remove this burden? This is exhausting.
Right. Absolutely.
What do you think? Does that, kind of, does that feel?
Yes, because I think when you talk about seeking validation, it is also that you're completely looking at other factors, external factors. So from within, you're still not confident enough, I guess. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So definitely, it's basically you're constantly trying to seek validation, and as you rightly pointed out, it will lead to exertion, and it will lead to and you will end up being always looking for validation and from somebody. So external sources is something that you're looking at, and you never found yourself to be great from within. Actually, so it is a major, it is a big issue actually. And how do you address this, Surbhi, when you do coaching for the for the women or for your student or the for your guest or for your clients?
It is done in steps, but it starts with a decision. To set, first of all, I keep going back to this, Kavita, to set your own standards, first of all. And to believe that if you're delivering to those standards, you are fine. One of those standards could be, these are my boundaries. These are the things that I believe in. This is my energy, and this is where I want to spend it.
Right.
And the second step is to be comfortable with the reaction. Because if you've always been a people pleaser, the initial reaction might not be entirely to your liking.
Absolutely. True.
To grow a little bit of thick skin, and be comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're not exhausted, you are doing it out of love and passion and purpose, you
Right.
will be able to enjoy it more, you will be able to do more, and you will be able to have more of a positive impact. Because you won't be grudging it, resenting it.
Yes.
Why do I have to do everything? You will be doing it with a positive attitude.
Yes.
And slowly but surely, others can see that you are bringing more value to the table now than you were when you were just running in this, hamster wheel in this rut of doing more and more and not
Right.
taking care of yourself. So
Right.
self care in terms of boundaries, and keep giving value and impacting, the world positively. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, that is the aim.
Yes.
Um,
But
but take care of yourself as well.
I completely relate to what you're saying, Surbhi, because as a young girl, I was also being labeled not by my parents, so to speak, but by the relatives and all that I was very shy, very quiet. And I started living with that fact that, so when even I used to go out, I used to not speak much. So I used to feel, no, I have to be like this because that's how I'm being perceived as. And over a period of time, when I started growing up, and then I realized, no, that's not what I am. I have something else in me, but why I'm trying to be something else. So yeah, so that's like really, I completely relate to that actually what you're saying. And
Yeah,
this, so I suppose this stems, most of us face that. So we are mostly perceived by, we behave the way we are perceived rather than thinking, what our inner voices or what exactly we want to be
that's
actually.
a very good point. We behave as we are perceived.
Yes.
So this is one of the things that I changed my mind about after I turned 40. Labels. So one was perfectionism that I speak about a
Right.
lot, and the other one was labels as well. And like you rightly said, everyone told you you're quiet.
Right.
Maybe you were quiet, but then everyone just kept reinforcing that. And
Yeah.
you didn't know the word labels then, but it became a label in your head. And I have the
Exactly.
same thing. All of these things, I labeled myself, I'm not a good decision maker, etc., etc.
Right.
Um, and then that impacted how you showed up in other people's presence and how much you did.
Yes.
Um, the only way out of it is to recognize it. I think you cannot
Yes.
change what's happened, but
Right.
I would say to sit down with a blank sheet of paper, do something radical, write down everything that you think about yourself or others think about you in one word, all the labels, and another
Right.
sheet of paper, write down everything you want to be known as,
Right.
right?
That's interesting.
Confident, strong, athletic, whatever you want. I know this is sounding like some, wish list or some,
Right.
story, mythical story, but why not? All the labels and then pick, these are the five things I want to be. And then go for it. And it's possible. It's just telling your brain that, am I actually shy or quiet?
Right.
Or I've just become used to behaving like that. If
Exactly.
I go and take these actions to break this little inner barrier and start speaking more and start talking to people more, interacting more, mingling more, the label's gone. I've done it, right? And I do
Right.
it more and more and more. Obviously, it won't
Right.
happen at once.
Right.
Yeah, just identify the labels and just say, I don't want it anymore, don't want it anymore.
Yeah. No, very true. And you also mentioned because for me also it took me a lot of time to build a confidence. Now I thought I am not having that because considering I was perceived at home, I was a very chirpy kid, but when it came to the relatives or outsiders, I was labeled as a very shy and quiet because I was not very interested in talking to them probably, and that was perceived as a like a shy behavior. So yeah, then I really had to work to I felt like I'm not confident at all. So literally to identify and kind of come bring that confidence out of me. So Surbhi, if you can elaborate, I'm sure a lot of people like me must be having the same issue. So how do we all had this notion that okay, it is inherited or it comes from within, confidence specifically. So how do you build on it? Because yeah, that's very interesting to know.
So, as a confidence coach, this is my number one kind
Yes.
of, philosophy. Confidence is not something you are born with or you have to be born with. It is something you can build like a muscle.
Mhm.
Um, it's not something that either you have it or you don't. It's not something because you appear a certain way, you are confident, because are loud, you're the loud person in the room, you're confident, or because, you have done certain things, you're confident. No. Confidence is not like, confidence is not like I know everyone's going to love me if I walk into a room.
Yeah.
No. Confidence is, I'll be okay if they don't. Right? So it's inner. It's that is what I mean when I talk about confidence. What's inside you? Confidence is not something. It's not absence of fear.
Okay.
That she's fearless, she can do everything, so confident.
Yes, yeah,
No.
that's
Confidence is not absence of fear. It's fine to have fear, right? You're a human being. Confidence is taking action despite the fear. That is confidence, and that is also something that builds more confidence. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
right. So literally you're kind of changing the definition of the so-called, because the concept we have of our confidence actually, that somebody who's fearless and who can go anywhere, who can speak a mind, that is confidence. But yeah, and that's something. Can you elaborate a bit more on this? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
And
it's
I'm very interested because you also call yourself confidence girl, right? Even in your email life. So I would love to know more about it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because I have to talk about confidence,
Yes.
and for me, confidence is a really wide subject. It's
Mhm.
not like I said, outer confidence. It's everything we talked about: the inner beliefs, how to empower yourself, how to kind of truly feel that identity, not just do it. How to break down these labels. Everything that we talked about in the last hour is confidence for me. So building confidence. So there are two things I think. One is what happened in the past. So opportunity. So me and my neighbor can be born in the same environment, same society, same town.
Right.
But the confidence can be a factor of little bit personality trait what you inherit. So I'm not saying it's zero. Little bit personality traits you will inherit from your parents, your genes, whatever. But most of it is opportunity. What were the opportunities you were given while growing up? So I've grown up in many small towns in Rajasthan. We kept moving and stuff. So I've seen that very traditional lifestyle as well, and where girls were told someone will drop you somewhere, or you cannot, you know, even ride the two-wheeler yourself, and your brother will drop you, or someone will go and pick you up, etc. Which is fine, safety-wise. But I'm just saying there are many other examples. Um, but what are the opportunities you got? How many of those things you did
Right.
fearlessly? So that is one, how it builds confidence. So I remember, just to give you an example here of why opportunities, when I was probably 10 years old, I'm trying to remember my age then, we used to have this little savings account, and my dad used to work in a bank, and he gave me like a few rupees to go and deposit in a little branch, and what's not a big branch, a little extension counter of a public bank, to go take that cash, very little amount, a few rupees each for each sibling, deposit it in our little mini savings accounts.
Okay.
So can you imagine the opportunity for a 10, 11-year-old to be on my little cycle, my bicycle, be
Right.
responsible for 100 rupees or whatever, going there, talking to the bank teller, and then the manager coming in and saying, like, who are you? And I said, I'm so and so's daughter. I want to deposit this money. That's
Right.
opportunity. What do you think that does? It builds confidence, right? So now what do you do if you're grown up and you didn't have the opportunity? You give yourself that opportunity. It is that simple.
Okay.
And how do you give yourself that opportunity? You take those actions. And that brings me to my, the framework that I teach usually is my, dynamic confidence cycle. Simple as that. Starts with action. Take the first action. Take the 100 rupees, take your bike and go to the branch, right? Or whatever you need to do now in your adult life.
Right.
When you take action, you will either succeed or you will learn something, right? You learn something, then you build competence. If you do any new thing and you learn something, you build some competence, if not everything.
Right.
What does competence do? It will give you self-belief. Oh,
Yeah.
I can do this actually. I've never done that before, but I tried it and I can do it okay-ish. Self-belief will give you confidence, right? So it starts from action. And what will the confidence do? The confidence will give you, and why do I call it dynamic all the time? Because it expands now. The confidence will give you will let you go for a bigger action this time, a bigger challenge than last time. Circle is
It
expanding.
empowers
Bigger
you.
challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger learning. Slowly the competence will become mastery. The self-belief will be utter conviction. And your confidence will be utter empowerment. And then you will do even bigger challenge. So you'll keep going. Just start with the first action. That's how I will say build confidence. Give yourself those opportunities now.
That's interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's basically the opportunities that you get. You have to give yourself opportunities and grab those opportunities and kind of build on it and build the confidence. That's great responses, Surbhi, because I think most of the people still are kind of not clear how to build confidence. Either they live it, they're born with it, or they don't have it. Yeah, so that's nice. That's
Yeah.
really
And many people are doing this subconsciously. It's not like you're doing new actions, like you would have done something new this week. You're doing it subconsciously. So why not just do it intentionally as well for the particular fields that you're struggling in? So if I struggle with presenting or struggle with,
right.
talking to people in an event, particular things, just pick that particular thing and say, next 3 months, I'm going to do this action based cycle and let's see where I land.
Let's talk about visibility, Surabhi. You've often talked about it and you have mentioned that, building visibility is also one of the key components, or I may say, for growth or to be, to achieve a leadership role or for success as such. But most of the time, it's confusing because when you talk about being visible, or, it also sounds like you're bragging for yourself, and the organization. I was into public relations, just cite my example, and I had to do public relations for everybody, which was all about, visibility, driving visibility for them. But unfortunately, somehow I never wanted to do it for my own self in the organization. So yeah, I always felt the same thought, I'll be bragging about myself. I'm just going ahead and, literally like tom-tomming about myself and talking about myself that I've done this, I've done that. So how, this,
Yeah.
basically this thought keeps on going in our mind that no, we shouldn't be doing it. And we've been taught like that. Don't talk about your work. Don't,
Yeah.
yeah, don't. So how do you kind of promote that thought about the
Yeah, no,
visibility?
so you're right. It is a bit confusing because you do need visibility, and it's a crowded, noisy
Yes.
world.
Right.
Um, the difference, I think, between bragging and visibility, whatever you do for visibility, is the intent. Is the intent. If your goal is to just show off or chase praise, then it will feel like bragging. But if your intent is to share the value of what you have done, to make others' lives easier as well, to showcase your team's effort, to lift them up as well, or to inspire others, then that's not bragging, that's self advocacy. And it is self advocacy with some purpose. And there's nothing wrong with that. So check your intent when you're doing that. Um, and the other thing, obviously, is like, still feel a bit self promoting to do that.
Right.
So once we get over that idea and say that, it is presumptuous to think that everyone should know about your work,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Why are we assuming that? Everyone is busy. Everyone is probably kind of doing 10 different things. At the same time, let's say, a team or a senior leader is looking for a certain type of talent and they're looking everywhere. And if you can articulate
Mhm.
your talent, your abilities, your achievements, you're probably making someone's life easy by spotting you easier. It's a two-way street. And a lot of times, I mean, in my experience, I've seen people, or especially people in the team as well, the ones who proudly say, "Oh, we don't like to blow our own trumpet here,"
Right.
are
Right.
the same people who complain that I don't get enough recognition and enough pats on the back.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. So I would say it's to do with intent, and it's a skill. It's not a personality trait. I do agree with that bit that I can't just naturally do it. Fine, if you can't naturally do it, just work on why you are doing it, what value you're bringing to table, and then just add a little bit sprinkle of good communication skills. Right? How do I put it across?
Right.
So yeah, rebuild that sense of self that what I'm doing is worth talking about. Nothing wrong with it. Um,
Mhm. And for example, if I cite my example itself, like how will you guide me to do it? Like, what should I do? Because, but the ideal way of doing it actually, because when I will do it, it looks like very, it may come out as bragging or blowing my own trumpet. So how do we, what's the ideal way of doing it?
yeah,
It's a very tricky question actually, yeah.
it's only tricky if we do it once in 10 years. Then it seems
Right.
tricky because it's a
Right.
one off.
Right.
In reality, it's not. In your day-to-day job, if you're, I know that there can be, bit of bragging, and there's a fine line sometimes. But the
Right.
idea is to not worry so much about that. Everyone is not going to like what you have to say. It's fine if 5%, 10% people are not aligned.
Right.
Um, you can't have it both ways, right? You cannot please literally everyone and then take care of yourself as well. We go back to people pleasing, looking stupid, all of those things. So for you, I would say, I mean, your line of work is quite different from mine, but when when you're doing, different podcasts, or even when you were in your PR role,
Right. Right.
um, visibility can be in the form of what you say on external platforms, how you present, who all do you bring along with you, right?
Right.
So, for example, I was saying this to someone a few days ago, that if you have cracked the deal, like in some organization, it's normal to send a deal, a deal shout out, a deal summary, naming who did what. But if you don't have that culture in your organization, don't get bogged down by that. Start a new culture. So if you've cracked a great deal, same for you as well. If you've done like in a project or a collaboration with someone similarly, draft an email which talks about the deal, in which you thank other people who have helped you,
Right.
genuinely mean it,
Right.
talk about how you did it and why you did it.
Right.
Everyone knows the what, you cracked the deal, fine. The
Right.
how and the why, give some value to people. They can learn from what you have done, how you have done. What else would you like to do? Send it out to the relevant stakeholders who can see it. If 1 or 2% people will find it as a bragging, that's probably something they need to work on themselves as well, their own visibility. Um, just start there, and then there are so many other ways to be visible. Talk to people. You're attending a Zoom. Prepare well in advance. So I see like these big Zoom meetings I've seen all my life, not all my
Right.
life, but since we started Zoom post COVID,
Right.
people will come and just, in your little rectangle window, you'll
Yes.
sit there, listen to other people, and, go back home.
Right.
Why are you not using that platform? If you think you know something about the topic, you're preparing in advance. If you're really intentional that today, this is the cohort of people attending today. This is the correct stakeholders, and I want to be in front of them. I want them to know me. Pressing the mute button won't help.
Right.
Preparing something of value to contribute, and then speaking up in that meeting will have far better results and visibility than anything else you can do, or a brag post or a brag email, whatever you call it to. So, intention. Do it intentionally.
So actually, if you look at it, it's like nothing is wrong. It's all depends on the intent. If you have the right intent, I think there's nothing called bragging. Then everything will come out clearly. Even it is confidence, overthinking, all can just we can deal with all of that. The bottom line is a clear intent, the good intent that you should have.
Good intent and authentic
Yes.
intent. Like
Authentic. Yes.
if I've not done anything, then I will just say my team has done everything and I'm really thankful for them.
Yes. Yes.
Absolute 100% credit to them.
Right.
It lifts them up,
Right.
but just think about it. It gives me visibility as well.
Yes.
It just does somehow. It just does without saying it,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, be authentic and don't brag about things that you've not done. Just really be authentic and give value. It's a two-way street. It will come back to you in some other form.
Absolutely.
It's same like networking, right? Give value and the
Yes.
network will come back to you. It will happen.
Yes. It shouldn't be out of pretense, but it should have a clear and good right intent.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it's really it kind of clears a lot of the myths that we had basically. So all stems from the right intent, and
Yeah,
we have to work from within.
from
Absolutely.
within, and just take responsibility. Just take responsibility. Don't wait for someone to start this trend. Do it
Yes.
for yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Surbhi, we touched upon, on the, all the factors, I may say, all the key components, if correct me if I'm wrong, in terms of building success and, building success and, gaining in being influential as a matter of fact in your life and is feeling something that you've done and achieved so far. But now comes my near one question where, earlier we were talking about how we work from within and kind of, arrive at that. However, now my another question is the external factors, which are very common nowadays, like the external challenges like the bad bosses, or I may say the job uncertainty. How do we kind of deal with them? How do we, so can working on personal growth still matter? These factors on play, like a bad boss or, yeah, and work job
Yeah.
uncertainty or bias in
Um,
workplace.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, external barriers are real. So, no denying. They are definitely there. You will find bias, you'll find bad managers, organizational restructuring, office politics, and bad market. Or everything can feel really brutal. But when has it not been there? Right. So if I think about my career experience, when I finished my MBA in 2002, we were applying for jobs. That was the worst market for campus job placement, right? Worst. In 2008, when I moved to UK for the first time, Lehman crashed. Just the wrong timing after resigning from a role and didn't get a job. 2011 again, something happened. And currently in UK, you'll see that's all everyone talks about is the market is really bad. There are so many retrenchments and redundancies, etc., etc. IT sector is not doing well. So it will always be there. The thing is that you cannot expect absolutely fair weather conditions every time you step out of the house, right? It is not going to happen. So what do you do? The answer here, I would say, is radical responsibility. It means taking 100% ownership of my path, especially when things are feeling uncertain. Especially then, not when things is everything is okay. So, for example, nobody's tapping me on my shoulder to say, okay, be more visible, come, I will take you to this meeting. No. So I will learn self advocacy and do those actions, which we just talked about. I'm not good at networking and it is hampering my growth in this particular industry. Fine. I will start small. I will reach out to 2 people a week and have a coffee catch up. Well, there are no opportunities in my team anymore. It's become stagnant. We're not hiring anymore. No one is moving up. Fine. I will expand my network through the said networking. I will find allies. I will look across other businesses. Or there are some inner challenges that I'm facing that keep coming back to me all of the time. All of the challenges we talked about, and there are many more that people face. I'll get a mentor, a coach, an accountability partner, anybody who can help me. I will not sit here just thinking, I will figure it out when the market is better, I'll get another job. So when you start thinking this way, you stop feeling powerless. And you stop waiting for something to move, for things to happen for you. So I think just taking responsibility, and the other good thing that happens is when you take responsibility of doing things that are within my control, at least the things that are within my control, you get busy. You get so busy doing those things that you forget about what's happening in the external environment. And slowly those actions will give you some clarity. So people who take action will always stand out and always figure out some way. As long as, to give you an analogy, don't treat these external barriers as a wall, right? Treat it as terrain.
Okay.
And be like water. So water will flow under, over, sideways somehow, and it makes its way across the terrain.
Right.
Life is long. Temporary external barriers are terrain. Find a way to go around it. That is what radical responsibility looks like.
Very beautifully said, actually. Really, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. If the moment we start taking responsibilities and being busy and taking action, that is two very
Absolutely.
takeaways. And yeah, absolutely. Where you can deal with anything. So, yeah, everything's temporary. Absolutely, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, the last question, Surbhi, is so, Surbhi, now you've shared so many valuable ideas, but we know insight alone isn't enough, right? How can people actually turn them into action?
Yes. Yes. Insight is insight. Um, Insight is not information. The information will come from doing things. Like I said, action gives you more information, right? So the mantra I would say is three. Actually, I'll give three mantras here, or three things to bear in mind. We have all read so many books. We have all seen so many TED Talks, so many clips. People will be probably watching clips of this podcast as well, included, right? The thing to do is pause and ask, if I've read these 5 books in the last 5 months or a year, whatever, what is the one thing that I have picked and actually implemented?
Right.
Am I a chronic learner, a chronic absorber, or can I create something? Can I act on something? So if I have, for example, I want to write more on LinkedIn, I want to create something, and I want to express, I have so much inside me. Have I been scrolling and reading endlessly, or have I created one post in a week? Right? So something like that. The mantra then is 10% learning, 90% implementation. And I have learned this from brilliant coaches and mentors that I have worked with. And this really opened my eyes. Always 10% learning, 90% implementation. If you see this percentage going up, stop, implement something. So, for example, you've read Atomic Habits from James Clear, which probably everyone has now. What is the one trick, habit building trick, identity trick you have implemented from that? Start there. And the other thing, it goes back to our confidence cycle. It comes from action. So you can't think your way into confidence or into implementation. You can only do your way into it. So take that action. It will give you clarity what happens next. That imperfect step will then give you a better plan on what I need to do next. And slowly, you will have a full blueprint. Just do that. Just don't just sit on a desk and create a perfect blueprint for the next one. You just don't do it. Just go ahead to take the first action. So the second mantra is that confidence is a muscle. You will build it with repetitions. So you will not build it by waiting to feel absolutely ready. Not going to happen. You're going to be waiting for a very long time. And the third thing in the same vein is don't depend on motivation.
Right. Okay.
Don't depend on motivation. You have heard enough motivational speeches. You have seen enough talks and videos telling you to go to the gym, telling you to eat healthier, telling you to reduce work stress. Stop, right? Go ahead and just put things in your diary and then stick to it. Like I used to say this, or probably I wrote about this at some point. A goal without a calendar entry is just a wish. Right. It's just a wish.
Right.
If you want to become a yogi, like I want to do yoga regularly from now on because your back needs it at 45 or whatever, like me, then so what? Where's the momentum? Then don't think that today, I'm really pumped up, I'm really motivated, I'm going to go do it. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow you're gonna have a bad fight with someone, or something unpleasant is going to happen, or it's going to be too hot like it is today here in London, and you're not going to do it. Right. Because you are waiting for that motivation. No. You make 4 entries in your calendar along with date, time, location, and which mat are you going to use, and just do it. Just follow the calendar. Do exactly that. Following the calendar is equal to momentum. So depend on momentum. Right? Right? Just go and do it. Just don't wait for everything to be perfect and someone to motivate you. Same at workplace as well. Just don't wait for motivation. So that's how I think those are the 3 things which can help anyone to turn any insight, anything we have talked about today or they have heard elsewhere, into actual action. Action is the only thing that will actually change your life. No insight will do that because the magic is in the implementation.
Wonderful. That's really the truth. Basically, if I may, the consistency and discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency and discipline.
Don't want to conclude the session. It's really very interesting and very enriching. However, because of the time, we'll have to. So, I want to ask you, if someone listening today feels that they have missed their chance to grow or lead, what would you say to them?
To grow, I would say that today, whatever day you're listening to this podcast, today is the youngest you will ever be. So what are you waiting for? And if you feel like you've lost time, well, you have lived those years, you have struggled, you have made mistakes, you have done great work, you have gathered wisdom, resilience, and perspective. So nothing will go to waste if you squeeze all of those learnings into your next goal and into actions now, right? And into your future. So yeah, everyone has a different timeline. And in fact, talking of timelines, there is no deadline, right? There is no deadline. There is only a decision, right?
Right.
So remove deadline, think of a decision. And the decision is that one, this is what I want, to figure that out. And two, I will not wait anymore. I will do something about it.
Right.
Sounds simple, but this is all it is. And the moment you decide that, you're already ahead of many others. I can take many examples, Kavita. You will also know, like we read about these amazing stories. Colonel Sanders started KFC at age 60, or Vera Wong. Someone was relating to this in a talk actually recently. She started designing wedding dresses at 40, and now she's the world's most famous wedding dress designer.
Yes.
So you
It's
and me,
never too late.
never too late. We can make that decision. Just you don't need anyone's permission. Just give yourself permission, and you still got time, and you still got everything that you learned up to this point.
Very well said, Surbhi. This is the best way to conclude. What better way to conclude this? Thank you so much. It was really enriching. And personally speaking, I just love the session, and I would love to be a part of your coaching one someday or the other, because it's
Most
really,
welcome.
yes, because you broke a lot of myths actually. You just debunked them. And, yeah, it takes a lot of us time to come back to it. Like confidence is a muscle, and, like overthinking, and especially perfectionism. So, yeah. So thank you so much. I am sure all our audience would love to, they will love and enjoy and learn a lot from the sessions. Actually, we look forward to more enriching and more interesting and sessions like insightful sessions from you. And wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And looking forward to more interactions with you. Actually, yeah.
Thank you so much, Kavita. Thank you for having me here. I have really enjoyed as well answering your questions and your challenges and our conversations. And I wish you all the best. And I wish all the best to your audience as well who are listening to this podcast today. We have one life, and we deserve to not just survive it, but thrive in it and live with joy, and live it to the fullest potential we can.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Thank
what
you.
better way than what you have told, the mantra to live the life to the fullest, actually. Thank you so much, Surbhi. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Kavita.
Thank you.